Jeanette here, and we're back out in what we'll call the tomato house. It's greenhouse number 3, where we planted the tomatoes a couple of days ago. In that video we said that we were going to put down bamboo stakes at each plant and tie the plant to the stake, but we've changed our mind. We've got these hooks. They're called tama hooks, and I'll show you one of those in a little while, but they hook up at the top up here on these bars that we have, and then a string comes down, and we will pin that string to the ground by use of a ground staple. And so that's what we're in the process of doing today. Thanks for joining us.
We said in our last video that we were going to put bamboo stakes by each tomato plant and tie down to them with our string. With a change of heart, I've got to cut all these strings down to get them out of the way.
This year we're going to be using what's called the single leader method, and to do that we have these strings and string holders. These are called tama hooks, and it's basically a spool for the string so that as the plants get taller you can spool out more line and let it down. With the single leader method, it requires picking off all of the suckers on the lower part of the plant, and as it grows you have to continue picking off the suckers. If you leave them on, you end up with too many branches, it gets too bushy, and you can't clip around it to one line. You have to use either a fence method or a cage method. Some nice things about this are that you can, as it grows, below the fruit you pick off all the leaves. And then you can lay the vine down on the ground, extend your strings out, and that allows you to manage your height of the tomato plant in a greenhouse, because they'll grow up over the top and there's nothing to do with them after that point if you don't have some way to deal with that. You have to pick off all the leaves in order to keep disease problems down, because if you leave the leaves on, put it in contact with the ground with wet, they'll get disease. The disease will spread to the rest of the leaves on the plant and to other plants, and you'll lose your tomato plants. We'll use a ground cover staple to anchor the bottom of the line into the dirt, and then as the plant grows up we will use clips like this they'll clip onto the string and then clip around the tomato plant like that. That way it holds it in place, but it has enough room not to damage the plant. And as the plant grows higher, you add more of these clips. As we go on through the year and develop this process out, we'll show you some more video of how it goes and what we do specifically with laying the tomatoes down, lengthening the lines and stuff, so watch out for all that coming up. So let's get this job done.
So we've got a system set up here where Jeremiah is going along with the tama hooks and running them out with string and hooking them on the top, and then I'm hooking the little staples into the ground and catching the string, and then old guy's coming along and tying it. So we're making some headway here, and I think it will make things go a lot faster. And so the cat decides to lay in my box of tama hooks. She likes the string. Silly cat. Okay, I want to show you how this works for the tama hook. You unroll enough string so that you can reach from the hook up here. This is what I have to do sometimes, is stretch out my hook, because we're using rebar at the top and the hook is kind of tight sometimes, so you've got to stretch out enough string to get down to the ground and a little bit extra, And then I've got a ground staple here that I stick down in the ground beside the tomato plant, and then we'll tie that onto there. And as the tomato plant gets taller, we'll put the little clips on here to attach it to the string and just keep growing up that way.
I went to our local sawmill and got a load of sawdust over lunch break. Now we're spreading it around the tomato plants for mulch to keep the water in, keep the weeds out. We've got a video of the kids helping us do this last year when we spread it around the tomatoes. You can go watch that one if you would like. If you're curious what the sawdust did to our soil last year, we had a soil test, and we'll put a video link up here to that video where we talk about that. Well, that's got all the sawdust around all the plants. We still have to do the walkways, and we have to do that side yet to finish off this house, but that's got the most important parts down. The three of us worked together today and got a lot done. We got the strings put up, anchored down, and then I hauled a load of sawdust, and we have the mulch around the plants to keep them wet, keep the weeds out, and I feel like we had a pretty good day's work. I feel like we're about set up, ready to win. Thanks for watching, and hope you've enjoyed it.